missed it or missed the announcement that I did at the very last minute. Actually, if you guys don't mind, just going to take a couple of seconds to tweet about it and let people know on the community space that this is happening. I hope you're doing well. Here we go. Retweet, like, a bunch of stuff. Okay, that seems very good. We're trying Circle again. Remember, we go back and forth between Crowdcast and Circle. And to be very honest, it is because I'm kind of late and forgot to mention that I figured Circle would be easier to like just get started right away. So we're doing that. I am gonna get myself ready. So the way we do it, though, the way it works is twice a week we have an office hour. So for an entire hour, you can come and ask your questions live, and I do my best to answer them. And on Tuesday, Rahul and Dave do their best to answer your questions. If you have any questions during a time that is not those 2 hours, you can go to community.draftbit.com and ask your question there. There is an ask for help space or section in that community site, and that's where you go and ask all the questions you might have. And so if nobody asks question live, we typically go to that website and answer questions there. Okay, so let me again make sure I'm all set up, and then we're gonna get going. I'm gonna close Slack so nobody pings us during this time. I'm gonna be very careful not to drop the Circle window, because if you do, then the live stream just ends, as I discovered last time. Anyway, okay, let's get going. I'm gonna share my screen. Toggle screen sharing. Here it is. Good. So I'm going to assume you guys can see my screen here. Oh, you see we're live. Here it is. George Duverger, that's me, is live now. That's cool. So here's the ask for help section I was talking about. So this is where you want to post all your questions. So let's take them one by one. This is me posting. What about the one right underneath? Splash screen timing. By the way, I'm sorry, I got something in my throat a little bit today. Maybe coffee would help. There must be a way to keep the splash screen in view a bit longer. I would love it if I can hold the splash screen for 2 seconds. I know it is possible and easy in an Expo app, but I can't seem to find a way to do it in Draftbit. To what Rahul responded, hey, Edward, we don't have a way to extend the duration of the splash screen, which is correct. You can use a custom code to create one. One of our users has done it before. You can look at this post. Yeah, it's a very good answer from Rahul. Let's look at the post that he's referring to. Oh, yeah, I remember the Mixi folks trying to do that. So yeah, essentially, I'm not aware of a property to make that screen go longer. It might exist. That's just my personal opinion. I would find it weird a little bit if it does exist. Like, why would you want a load screen to be longer? Clearly it's because you have some kind of a logo or some kind of an animation and you want people to see it. But in that case, I will double down on what Rahul said. Like, you should probably keep the loading time as quick as you can, and then your first screen be your kind of a custom screen that is equivalent to your splash screen that you want to stay longer on it. So take a look at what Rahul posted. He went on much detail on how to do that. Let's see if that helps. That helps you. If it doesn't, let me know. I'm happy to give that a try. We'll see. If we have time, maybe I'll try. I haven't tried Rahul's solution, but if we have time, maybe it'll be a good opportunity for me to give it a try. Okay. I think this one also, okay, using social auth with via Xano. So, okay, so indirect, oh, I think I remember indirect. I think indirect, if I'm not mistaken, if it's not a different name, sorry. I think indirect was part of our Draftbit sprint at some point. So he's asking, I'm using Xano as a backend and also for authentication. Great. I have a question that I have a question that can I provide also Google and Facebook social auth with the Xano when Draftbit is used as front end? Can I provide to Google and Facebook social auth with Xano? Okay, let's keep reading. I have a couple of thoughts. Related question is that what are the rules for Apple Auth? When is it required? Xano has Apple Auth currently only via Auth 0. Basically, my question is that if I have Xano backend, how can I provide Google and Facebook Auth to my user in Draftbit? So there are two things. One way to think about it is like you use Xano as your backend independently of the auth. Well, actually, the most simplest thing, which is not exactly what you're asking, but I'm trying to paint the whole picture. The most simple thing is to use Xano itself as your auth provider. So Xano lets you in a pretty straightforward way, create auth endpoint, like sign up, sign in, log out, things like that. So you can use Xano for your authentication need. It'll return an auth token that you can use to authenticate future requests. So that's what I use personally when I use a lot of Xano. So that's that's the first option. In your case, sound like you want a different provider specifically for auth. In your case, Google and Facebook. So you can really dissociate those two and do all your auth with Facebook and Google, which I assume you need to do OAuth, and I can talk about that in a sec. Or the part I'm less familiar with is, does Xano already provide you with ways to do OAuth with Facebook and Google as part of their solution? I think I've seen stuff around that, but I've never tried that. So actually, you know what, let's take a look. But just to summarize, so you use Xano entirely for auth by itself, or you use a third-party service through OAuth, like whether or not you use them like independently from Xano, and that's essentially it's going to use custom code in Draftbit to do OAuth, or you use maybe a functionality that Xano offers to do OAuth with Google and Facebook, but I'm not quite familiar with that, so I'm going to look it up right now. Let's see, what does Xano let me do? Maybe the marketing website would be a better place to go. Let's investigate just a little bit. I'm mostly honestly just curious myself, so this is what I kind of want to take a look. Let's see. Did they talk about it on there? Maybe on the doc. Okay, what about, okay. Oh, okay. What about those? Xano, okay. Auth, okay. User authentication. Facebook. So let's do Google Auth. Okay, there's a whole feed. So I don't need to play that ad. I just want to get to the point of. Therefore, so I'm just going through it to just get the gist of it, and then we can talk a little bit more about it. This is getting interesting. So see, essentially, that third bucket that looks like Xano is offering through their marketplace a way to do Google Auth, and then once you do all those 5-step that Michael was talking about, it sounds like it's offering endpoints for auth/Google init, auth/Google login, sign up, continuing all that. So, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Kind of going back to the question, either you just use Xano for regular auth. If you want to use like a third-party provider, Facebook, Google, you can do it in custom code in Draftbit. I'll go a little bit more detail in that in a second. Or the third option is to use I forgot what they call it, like an add-on, or like in the marketplace of Xano, to use Xano that in order to connect to those authentication provider. So that's your spectrum of options. For the middle one, for the OAuth with Draftbit, what you can look into, I've done that myself before, and I've connected with OAuth to Slack and GitHub. And what I've used is the Expo auth session. So I'll recommend you check this out. I think there might be, is there a guide? I think sometimes the guide is a little bit easier. Maybe there's no guide for this. I bet there is. They do such a good job with documentation all the time. But anyway, if I can find it quickly, it's okay. This is auth station here. I'm going to share it in the chat. Here we go. So take a look at that. You can import Expo auth session and Expo random, and then you should be able to do the auth. You have to go through that whole process. If I remember correctly, the limitations are going to be those provider like Slack, GitHub, the one I use, they ask for like a redirect URI, right? Once they connect, or once they authenticate your user, they want to bring them back to your application. And so they require that you have, if I'm not mistaken, either an HTTPS endpoint or like a scheme endpoint. So like Draftbit : / like your actual app. And so because of that, it's not something you can really test. You can build it, but it's tricky to test in the builder as of right now. So what I was typically doing when I build it myself is publish that to Expo, or even publish that to Test Flight, and then I was able to test the whole OAuth process, OAuth flow in Test Flight. So it's a little tricky. It takes a little bit of effort. It's doable. Like I said, I did it for GitHub and Slack. It's something that we want to get better at. So eventually it will become more like a built-in no-code solution. But we are actually interested with partnering with folks who need that, like have a very serious, concrete use case, to work with them to better understand all the aspect of it, and then turn that into a better solution inside Draftbit. So if that's you, if you have a need for that, reach out, post something, and ask for help, or anywhere in the community. And we're happy to kind of work with you to figure that out. And the way that's going to probably work out at first is, we're going to help you build the custom code a little bit, tell you what we've done and all, and then learning from your experience will make things better. Yeah, so that's essentially how you would approach social auth with Xano. I hope that's helpful. Let me know otherwise. I'm going to make a quick note. We discussed this a little bit during today's office hours. I'll share the recording shortly. Okay. Going back to the ask for help. Sorry, the throat still hurts. All of those with a green checkbox, check mark, have been answered. So I'm going to skewer them. What about this one? Quick question. So Xano SMS passwordless authentication guide missing steps. Okay. I'm trying to implement passwordless authentication. So passwordless authentication, for people who are not familiar with it, it's essentially, instead of using a username and password, the service typically asks you for like your email, and then it's going to send you either through email or text message. It's going to send you some kind of a code. It could be a code that then the application asks you for that code. So you can almost think of that like a very, very temporary password. Or it's going to send you what's called a magic link. And it's essentially a link that when you click on it, you'll arrive to the application already signed in. And so that's essentially what passwordless authentication is. So using the guide provided by Draftbit and Xano, but there seems to be a large gap in the Draftbit guide where you have to set up the endpoint. It first tells you to follow the Xano YouTube video, which in turn tells you to follow 2 additional videos. Once you finish with those, it goes on to the endpoint that you need to set up. This is why it tells you to create those endpoints by following this Draftbit guide. The problem with this guide is that it's only giving information on how to set up the email and password endpoint that come largely out of the box in Xano. I was expecting to get detail on what I had already set up using Xano guides or instruction that detailed how to set up the endpoint for password. Okay. For example, the API endpoint, the Draftbit guide suggests auth sign up phone to allow user to create a new account using the phone. Auth magic SMS, the one-time password or OTP code via SMS. Okay, okay. Auth magic code phone. Okay, and auth me. The endpoint creating using Xano are magic link and magic login exchange. Okay. For the endpoint like auth sign up phone, auth, so this one, and auth SML phone, I don't know what the required steps are to get them to set up in Xano aside from giving them a name and putting them in an API group. Has anyone been successful in taking this route for Xano integration? I figured there would be Xano snippets that I could use for the endpoint. Okay. So delay, I'm taking a look at this once I get this one. Okay, so first thing first, I think we might have done a tutorial on OTP. So let me search for that a little bit first. Low code. Yeah, create account. Xano authentication. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so it's pretty exhaustive. Okay, so now let me check on Draftbit whether or not we already have something like that. Then authentication tutorial part 6. Wait, 1 sec. Let's look at the playlist. Xano authentication tutorial. Okay, so that's Rahul doing with name, like just email and password. See, I'm pretty sure we've covered something. That's why, if you don't mind, I'm gonna spend a minute trying to find it. Draftbit thesis, no code, auth tutorial, no feature. Okay. What about, was it one of the office hours maybe? Firebase, that's all right. What about this one? Draftbit Spring, Draftbit. Okay, how about Xano auth with magic link? What did I say then? I'm gonna be just a specific question. Oh yeah, so it's just SendGrid specific issue, so it might not be appropriate. Pretty sure we did that one time password thing. Let's see, indoor navigation. You know what? I guess I'll do some more research to see if we have it, and otherwise, we should definitely, yeah, we should do a better, more longer term, more like in-depth video about it. Actually, if we have 30 minutes, I can maybe take a stab at it if I don't find it. That could be helpful for the folks in the. All right, I think we're gonna. I might give it a try. Let's see. Type password. Local email. So that's the email password. That's the tutorial. No code auth. No code auth. Okay, maybe I did not do a video on specifically OTP. All right, you know what? Let's give it a try. It's been a long time, so it's going to be a little live here, but might as well give it a try. So this is a question. Essentially, how do you do one-time password? Now, I'm going to narrow it down to, are we doing text messages or are we doing email? We're doing text messages, are we doing email? Let's do text messages, I guess. Okay, so here we are. Here goes nothing. Xano OTP. I think I might even have like a see if I already have personal. Okay, maybe not. Okay. Is it here? No. Ah, cool. Xano OTP. Let's get started. So, you're gonna follow the guide. Follow the guide. Let's say implement password using the space Xano's backend. Okay. So, one-time password send. Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna do the SMS. Prerequisite global variable custom. Okay. Send magic link. Let's see how much I can do by just not reading the guide, which is not good, but I just kind of don't want you guys to like watch me read a guide. Let's see how far I can go. Okay, so I'm going to do it miscellaneous. So that's my database. I have a user database. Maybe I need to create. You know what? I never used those. I should probably I could maybe empty it entirely. Is there a way for me to delete? Oh, no, those are confused. Okay. Start a table. I'm going to create a new API group that I'm going to call Xano OTP. Okay. So did I already have that? Something like that? I guess not, right? Oh yeah, we used to have like here, Draftbit OTP. That might be a better way to get started. So what does that do? Okay, so I have a user. I have a user as, oh, sorry. I should not share those phone numbers. It's going to be a little tricky to do in 20 minutes. Maybe I got a little too ambitious. It's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Let me try to learn from what we've done in the past. So magic OTP code. So we have a login. You're going to email and passwords. That's the old way of doing things. Then we have the magic code, which is stacking an integer in a phone, and it's going to return an auth token. So in my case, right, so that's when I already have received. So, you know, I'm like, that's me. Let's say I received 1, 2, 3, then I can run that. Of course, it's not going to work here, but like that's what that endpoint is, magic code. And what it does is it makes sure it's not empty, it gets a user, assuming based on the phone number. Yep, it is. And then it check that what I sent as the magic code is what is already in that database, and that it's not expired, and that it hasn't been used already. And if all that is true, create the auth token, and then add the auth. Assume I save, edit. Not sure where we do this. Do you find the ID? Did record integer. Saved. Oh yeah, so you save. Oh yeah, because now it's used. So okay, and then you return the auth token. Okay, so that's when I received it. Exchange magic token for auth token. Magic token. Those are the same, right? Magic token phone and magic token. Magic token phone. Oop. Yeah, those are essentially the same. Okay, so it's magic email. I'm not going to worry about. Magic login. Exchange magic token for auth token. This is not exactly magic token. I bet it's magic SMS. Right, this is sending the text message. So this is the endpoint where I'm giving in a phone number and it's sending me a Twilio message. Got it. So yeah. So you know what? Let me. I'm not going to redo all the Xano stuff because it's outside of the scope. But let's try in Draftbit. I'm going to use that endpoint. Okay, we're going to see if we can get it to work. So, while I'm here, screenshot that. Okay, REST API, Xano. How do we call magic OTP code? Magic OTP code in Xano. Okay, this is endpoint. So the one I'm going to care about is magic SMS. Magic SMS or magic SMS. That's one. Okay. So this one get send code, and it's a get. Just get one. Actually, I'm gonna press login. Okay. So this I do need to pass it the phone. Okay. You know what? Insist. I'm gonna go live on the internet with my own phone number. Okay, got an issue there. What is that? It's a public endpoint. Let's see, I can debug it from here. 6320553. Okay. Enable to locate email. Enable to locate input email. And this generate a magic link, generate an OTP, get record, and the wait records. Why does it need an email for this? Your code is magic code, okay. And what is this? Success message. Why does he need generate magic link? Oh, here it is, generate magic link. Email. Text email. Why is it getting text email? That's not gonna work. Yeah, there is no email here. One type password. Does it need email? Why does it need email? So it needs email to do a one-time password. So it's not so much phone, like SMS. I'm not going to sign up. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Magic token. This is not what I want. I want. I'm surprised there is no email there. Yeah. Maybe I can pass it both the email and the phone. What does he need the phone for? So this uses email, the OTP, generate on an email. That's odd. All right, let me try. Let me try to just add an email. Let's see. That fixes it. And then this one is just going to use input email. Yeah, okay. So now it's going to ask me for phone, email. Ooh. Authenticate. Oh, that will need email. Why do I need the email? I need the phone. Oh, generate OTP phone. Okay, so let me hide that for a sec and remove what I just created. When I hide this one, oh, no. Oh, I didn't really get a description here. Okay, so forget about this one. We're going to generate OTP phone. I text a phone number. That's it. And what does that do is text a phone number, check a bunch of stuff, generate random number, and then return generate code. Okay. One thing I'm going to check, which hopefully is I'm going to check. You guys might not be able to see that, but I'm going to check in database that my user is tied to the right. Okay, so I have a user for myself in there. Cool. Okay, so back to this. We're getting there. We're getting there. So I've got phone, creating a magic code. I'm making sure the code is not null. I'm editing. I'm finding the user with the phone. That's how I get it. And then I'm sending a Twilio message to that phone with the magic code. Just so we can check what that does. Send. Yeah, that goes to the API. You might have to set that up with your Twilio account, but that's different. Okay, so that, and that's it. So let's try again now. I should be getting, let me bring up my phone. I'm going to clean up those notifications quick. Okay, so I'm going to debug that now. This is my phone. Run. Oops, an error. What happened to the error? Why am I getting an error? Admittedly, I haven't tested that code in a long time, so it feels like maybe the Twilio account is not valid anymore. Let's do a little debugging in Xano utility function, stop and debug. All right, so what if I show just the result of the, actually, let me put it here. First, we're going to make sure that we got the right user. Okay. Okay, we got the user. OTP, we're not doing the magic link, we're doing the OTP expiration code. Okay, so we got everything, including the code. It's not used. Okay, so now clearly there is an issue with the Twilio, which might be that, you know, I haven't used that Twilio in a long time. So also I think that Twilio was maybe set up. See, it's set up. I think the Xano folks set that up for us at the time. So it's going to be a different account. All right, well, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do, because I don't want to spend time just working on Xano. So here, we're gonna fix it. And the way we're gonna fix it is here, I'm not gonna send the actual thing. What I'm gonna do is yeah, actually, that should do it. Let me try again now that we don't do this. Success, true, message code. Okay, so that's awesome. So now in Draftbit, what I can do to simulate it is this. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, magic SMS phone. And I pass it the phone. Extra phone. Okay, okay, great, success. So that's it. That's how we're gonna send the code. And then we're gonna need another endpoint for. So I'm trying to log in. I provide my phone number. It's gonna send the code. Now I need to check that the code is valid, and that's gonna be this endpoint. Yeah, magic code info. So I think that's the one we're gonna post. This and check code, and it's gonna be a post. Create, sure. It doesn't matter. Okay, and this takes, I can even see it here. That's what it's going to look like in the body. So in the body, I'm going to say in Draftbit, I need to create the magic code as well as the phone number. So phone number is going to be this, and then I'm just going to look at the database to see what's being used. One sec. It's pretty cool to do that. It's been a while. It was a little rusty. I did a ton of those when we were just started to offer kind of Xano and OTP and all that. But now kind of take it for granted and haven't done it in a while. So it's a good refresher. Okay, 1 sec. I'm almost there. OTP, database, user. OTP code. Okay, 1353. Okay, 1353. I think that should be working. Okay, and I got my auth token. So that's it. I'm going to save that. So this is actually, and I'll do one more just to prove that we are logged in. Me, and that's going to be a get to user, and if I'm not mistaken, it usually is auth me. Let's check. Auth login, auth me. Yeah, that's the one I'm trying to produce. Oh, I should have saved this thing. Anyway, it's okay. This one takes authentication header. So what I want to do is in the header, pass it authorization, and I need to pass it a variable. So I'm going to create a variable. It's going to be a device variable because I want it to be saved session after session. It's going to be Xano authorization header. That's it. I'm starting to get a little bit of momentum here, remembering how to do things. So let me do this. We can test with that. Okay. I go back to my endpoint, to the magic OTP code, to the me code, get one, doesn't matter. It's going to be auth/me, and the header is authorization bear. Oh, actually, I'm just going to use this one. Yeah, okay. Now that should work, hopefully. Nope. Why doesn't that work? Auth me. Why doesn't that work? Why does not? Why that doesn't work? Did I do a typo somewhere? Global variable, authorization header. Maybe I messed up the global variable itself. No, there. I think that's correct. Right? Let me just think it through. Authorization header. Yes, I think that should work. Just double checking that is indeed bear that is expecting. Try it out, execute, accept, request to your auth me application JSON. Unauthorized, yeah. Makes sense because I didn't use. Okay. 3F to get. I'm a little surprised that doesn't work. Oh, maybe I did a typo somewhere. Anyway, so that's it. That identified me. So I know that that token works. So that's okay. So we got 3 endpoints. That's it. So it's just setting up. I'm sorry it took 15-ish minutes, but the first endpoint is we're going to essentially request a code. I'm going to rename it request, a little bit clearer. Request a code, and then check validate code, check code. Let's call it validate. Oh, this one may not work because we've already used it now. Okay, that was a bad idea to try. So I'm going to keep the name as it was. Because the code only works once. So when you try to revalidate the same endpoint, you'd have to create a new code, but it doesn't matter. So request a code, check the code, and then make sure that I receive the proper auth so I can identify myself. Okay, that should be enough. So now in Draftbit, all I need to do is text endpoint. This is going to be where I enter my phone number. Here, let me make things a little nicer looking. So that's it. This is going to be the phone number. And then we're going to have a button that says request code, or send code, or whatever it is. And then we're going to go, so this is step 1. This is to request the code. And then I'm going to do another screen I'm going to call, to make it super clear, step 2. And what step 2 is going to do is I'm going to now give it the phone and the code. Yeah, so it's going to be 2 text input on this one. Typically, I'm going to try even pass the phone so you don't have to type it again. But it's still there. You could probably save that. You don't have to retype the phone number, but you get the idea. Code. Okay. Phone code, and then a button. Okay, that's going to be called check code. That's what's consistent with our endpoint. A little bit better now. Okay, so phone code, and what I'm going to do, what you can do is create navigation parameters. So when you go from one page to the other, you can pass data, and you can also set default data. And so here I'm going to call it, I'm going to pass to that screen a variable navigation parameter called phone number, and default to whatever, and then this input is going to use that navigation parameter. Oh, is it not here? Let me just refresh the page. It should be in there. Navigation parameter. Navigation parameter. It's there, but I can't access it here. Okay, that probably is a bug. No, never mind. Yeah, I can do it from here. Okay. Navigation parameter. Screen variable. Screen variable, global variable, initial. Okay. Anyway, so this is going to be here. Kind of want that to be, I want that to be a new screen variable that I'm going to call phone number. It's a string. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And what I'm going to do, instead of using the navigation parameter, is that when the screen load, I'm going to set that screen variable called phone number to the one that I received from the navigation parameter. So now what I've kind of decoupled, I get a navigation parameter, I'm saving that to a screen variable, and then I'm using that screen variable to populate the first text input. Hopefully that's clear enough. And then the code, I'm also going to put that into a new screen variable that I'm going to call code. Pretty straightforward. Okay. And then what the button is going to do is it's going to do an API request to that service, and it's going to check the code. For the magic code is you're going to use code, and for the phone numbers, you're going to use phone number. Okay. And the return value should be the Xano auth response. So, okay. Now I need to pause. I need to extract from that Xano auth response. Because if you remember, it's going to look like, I'll show it to you. Well, it's going to, yeah, let me just, it's going to be auth token, right? I think that's what it's going to be. Well, I'll explain that a bit more. Auth token, okay, that's a result name. And then I'm going to save that to, oh, no, not this. Yeah, I'm going to save that to the variable, the Xano authorization header. I'm going to save that auth. Where's my auth? Yeah, auth token. And I'm going to prefix it with bear, because all of those take like a bear. Okay, so now I've saved it. And I can navigate to my step 3. Nope, step 3. So step 2, I'm clicking the button, I'm doing all this, and I'm navigating to step 3, and that's it. Step 3, all it does is going to do a fetch. Actually, I can probably even do it from here. API request to the me endpoint, and it's going to return Xano me response. And I'm going to save that to a variable. I'm going to make a screen variable here. I'm going to call it me. Okay. So the response of this is Xano me, and so I'm going to save it to that variable. Okay. And finally, all I need to do is a text input that shows that me variable. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Why is that going on? All it does is show me the me, and what it does here is an API request to this, then a me response, then a me response to the variable me. Oh, maybe me is a string, right? And it should really be an object, I think. Let's give that a try. Oh, okay. That's good. I was right. Next step though, now it's an object, so I need to like turn it into a string that I can display on the screen. Here we go. Look at that. All right, awesome. So let's go back. We're not completely done. So this is going to take a phone number. I'm going to create a new screen variable called phone number. It's going to be just local to that screen. It's a string. Okay. Now when I click request code, I'm going to do an API call to the request code by passing it the phone number. Okay. And then I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to navigate to step 2. I can pass it the phone number just so I don't have to replicate it in step 2. Okay. Okay. Finally, I'm going to make sure the initial route, everything started at step 1. Oh, is that saved? Oh, it's 50. We got 3 more minutes. Hurry up. Hurry up. Okay. Okay. So it is. Let's give that a try. So essentially, the only piece I have faked so far is the sending thing in Twilio through Twilio in Xano, because it'll just require a bit more time to set the right credential. I need to put my Twilio account and all that. That's really just like at this point, it's a Xano thing, which works perfect. I've done it before. Like I don't imply that it doesn't work in Xano. It's more like it does take a little bit of work. And so I'm going to try to fix it. And the way I'm going to fix it is that I'm going to send everything to Xano, and then instead of sending the Twilio message, I'm just going to loop myself into the Xano database, and I'm going to use that as a token. Okay, so first of all, I kind of want to see that navigation parameter work. So if I just type whatever phone number and request code, yeah, the phone number is being saved. See, it's being passed as a navigation parameter, saved to a screen variable, and used in the text input. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's go back to 3. Okay. Request code. Okay, so step 1, I sent make sure you guys can, okay, because I'm checking on my other another window of the database, but I don't want to show phone number of everybody I have in there. But so in Draftbit, I click request code, which sent text messages. The text messages, I can tell you what it is. It's 4041. So I'm going to come back here. Okay, don't tell me I lost it. Okay, no. 4041. Is that what I said? Yeah. Phone number I don't have to change. Check code. Oh, interesting. And so it went through, and then I got an error message saying error code unauthorized, unsupported input. Ah, interesting. Let's try again. Let's see. So I'm going to request another code. I'm going to go and try this Xano a little bit. So that's what I did. That worked. What I want to do is this one. Let me try to see if it works in Xano first. That's kind of an easy way to debug when you see something that doesn't work in Draftbit. I try to see if it works directly with your provider, and that could be a good way to do it. Okay, so now my new, oh, maybe I did not refresh previously. Let me check. Maybe I used the wrong. Okay. So I'm gonna actually stay here and go back and test it again, because I think I might have used just the wrong code. So message, I request the code. What is the code? Let me search for it. I'm doing it in the database, but I'll typically do it on my phone. The code is 2446. 2446. Check code. Nope, still didn't work. Okay, so we are going to do what I said we were going to do, is check in Xano. So this is the endpoint I'm going to test. The phone number is still mine. And the magic code is now 2268. 2268. So that worked here. So it worked in Xano. Oh, it's auth for a different problem, but I should fix that. So step 2, let's see. Step 2, when I click check, I do the API. So somewhere in there did not work. So let's see. Check code, Xano response, code and phone. Check code. Okay, extra key. This is actually token and not auth token. Yeah, I can see it here. So it's just token. So I'm going to fix that. Yeah, okay. Auth token, then it's saving that to the global variable. Okay, and then it's going to step 3. And step 3 is not doing much except for API request with the variable Xano me response that is saved in the me and shows on the page. Okay, so most likely the issue is here. When I do this, I'm going to do a little console log of Xano auth response. Let's see. I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, Xano auth response. Okay, so let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Okay, starting again. Step 1, 6, 2, 2, 2, 0, 5, 3. Code. Oh, something else happened. That doesn't work anymore. Failed to fetch. That's odd. Let's give that a try. Okay, 3 code. Okay, so now the code is refresh. The code is 7813. 7813. Oh, it worked this time. Okay, so maybe it's just a little odd thing. Okay, so let's give it a try here. Oh, I'm going to do it on iOS because why not? Might as well. And hopefully everything is working now. So this is my iOS preview. I'm going to give it a phone number. Two. Oh, I think I have too many zeros in there. 222. Okay, request code. It's going to go to step 2. Going to look at the database and make sure figure out what the code is. It's loading. Okay, the code is 2891. 2891. Check code. And boom. That's me. It's authenticated request. I was able to get all my name and all. So that's it. We've made it work. 5 minutes over. Not too bad. I guess the key learning is that you essentially need 2 endpoints. The last one is just me checking that the auth token works, the auth me. So you need those 2 endpoints. One that requests the code, to which you're going to pass it your phone number, and one that checks the code, to which you're going to pass it the phone number and the code. And that's it. And those 2 endpoints are in Xano. One is called, the name is yours. You can change it, but one is Magic SMS phone. So it's Magic SMS phone and Magic SMS code. So this is the first Magic SMS one. This is the first one where you give it a phone number. You generate a one-time password phone code. I forgot if that function is something we've done or if that's something built in Xano, but feel free to reach out and we can share that. If once the code exists, then you update the information about that user that you've created the code. The key part here that I faked is that you want to send a Twilio SMS in Xano. I did not do that. I just looked at the database to skip that step. But that's your first endpoint. The second endpoint is Magic Code Phone, Magic Code Phone. And what that does, it takes the phone and the code, make sure they all exist, retrieve the user based on the phone, and then make sure that the code that you provided is the same one that was saved on that user object, And if everything goes well, you create an auth token, associate the auth token with the user, and return the auth token. And then with that auth token, you can then do authenticated request in Draftbit. So yeah, that's it. 3 steps. That's how you do one-time password in Draftbit with Xano and Twilio. That was a little ambitious. I don't know if anybody's still watching, but that was a little ambitious. I'm glad we were successful. So I'm going to post a little comment here. We discussed this during today's office hours, and we're able to create a small one-time password authentication flow. I'll share the recording. Okay, sweet. And with that, folks, that's it for today. I'm very glad we arrived at a good outcome. So thank you all and see you next week. Bye.